Hello students, I'm Saleha Jamaat from Department of Geography, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh, and I'm again here with the next lecture, that is the occupational disease. Last time we discussed about the what is disease, what is communicable and what is non-communicable disease. And in the continuation of different types of diseases, today we are going to discuss occupational disease. Before starting about what are the different types of occupational disease, we'll start my lecture from the defining occupational disease. Again, I will say here what the word occupation is signifying: the diseases which are related to our occupation, or the diseases which are related to the workers' occupation in which they are exposed to, the environment, the working environment to which they are exposed. So the occupational diseases are the diseases which are related to the occupation of the worker or the working condition in which the worker is working. These diseases may be developed due to the different types of exposures, because the working environments are different in different sectors. For example, the employment in different economic sectors, whether it is primary, secondary, or tertiary, these all have different types of working environment. So each type of working environment have different pros and consequences, and sometimes these consequences pose certain health hazards. Some of the common diseases which are related to the occupational diseases are, one of the most important is tennis elbow. Tennis elbow is one of the, we can say, inflammation of elbow, and one of the famous example which I will like to give you, which you must all be knowing about that. About the Sachin Tendulkar, who is suffering from this tennis elbow, that inflammation of elbow, which restricted his batting to some time. The different types of other diseases, some types of allergies may develop in working environments. There may be temporary or permanent hearing loss if the workers are working in the environment which is uncomfortable, or they are working in certain noise pollution. Different types of lung diseases are also very much common among the workers. So next we will discuss, okay, what are the environmental risks, or which type of environment generally poses risk and causes occupational diseases. For example, there are certain works which causes repetitive work movements. Repetitive work movements, suppose loading and unloading of materials in industries or at docks, or at certain warehouses, etc., or lifting of arms above the shoulder height. Again, this may be seen in loading and unloading of the material. Heavy work lifting, which is very much common in construction workers working in a noisy environment in certain industries. Sometimes we can say in power loom sector, which is very much common noisy environment, or working in the environment having the exposure to the hazardous substances, where the worker is exposed to some type of radioactive elements, is exposed to certain type of toxic gases. So these all types of environmental risk poses or maybe that can be reflected in certain types of diseases. Now the question arises in our mind that which type of diseases can be recognized as an occupational disease. Which type of disease can be recognized as an occupational disease? As already we have said and discussed, the occupational diseases are generally the work related diseases. So mainly the work related diseases comes from the industrial sectors. So occupational diseases are also commonly known as the industrial injuries, because maximum number of diseases are listed from the industrial sector. Now, who recognizes the particular disease as an occupational disease? The listing is mainly done by the organization, that is the Occupational Disease Committee, which includes three body under its head for listing these occupational diseases. The first one is Danish Board of Health. The second word you can see the Working Environmental Authority, and the third one is the parties to the labor market. So this occupational disease committee make list of various occupational diseases, and this list is continuously updated according to the ongoing researches. Now, there are the two different ways we can say the particular disease can be regarded as occupational disease. The first one is if the disease is listed on the list of occupational disease, then it will be regarded as occupational disease related to the occupation. And the second way is that if the disease is not listed on the list of the occupational disease, but the occupational disease committee, that is the ODC, recommends the particular disease that is caused by the special factors of the workplace, can be said as the occupational disease. If a certain patient comes with certain signs and symptoms, the doctor asks for the history of the patient. What is the job profile, what is the working profile, where that human being is particular person is working, what are the working environment to which he or she is exposed, and whether that particular working environment may have some negative impacts on the health of the person. After that, having this history, the doctor can also diagnose the particular disease, that is disease generally caused by the occupational diseases. Now, after coming to the fact, when we are able to recognize that which disease are generally the occupational disease, we will come to the occupational hazards, that are generally the hazards which are seen in the working environment, to which the workers are exposed. So these are mainly the 5 hazards which are mentioned here in the broad heads, under which various subheads will be discussed later on in this lecture. The first one is the physical hazard, chemical hazard, biological hazard, mechanical hazard, and psychosocial hazard. Now the physical hazard. Physical hazard to the physical environment to which the worker is exposed. That may be the heat and cold, that is the temperature of the working environment, the lighting condition of the working environment, whether it is having the excessive brightness, or we can say having dim light condition, noise of the working place, vibration, ultraviolet radiation exposure, etc. Now the first one is the heat and cold. The what type of temperature the worker is exposed, whether it is in comfortable limit or it is uncomfortable for the worker, because various workers, mainly the industrial workers, are exposed to the heat. For example, working near the blast furnaces, etc. That may cause severe types of burns, heat exhaustion, heat strokes. These are the direct effects which can be caused through the extreme temperature or high temperature. And there are various also indirect effects, like feeling fatigue, decrease in efficiency of the work, etc. Lighting conditions are also sometimes pose certain health hazards. The poor illumination or excessive brightness, that may be reflected in eye strain, headache, eye pain, even eye fatigue, etc. Similarly, the noise also affects in two ways, that is the auditory effect and the non-auditory effect. Auditory effect, we can say, that is the direct effect in which the temporary or permanent hearing loss can be observed, and non-auditory effect, that can be said as the indirect effect of the noise pollution. That may be different types of nervousness, feeling upset, having feeling fatigued, tired, and reducing the efficiency to work. Similarly, there are various works working with the drills, pneumatic tools, working with the hammers, that may produce vibration, and it affects them. And long exposure to this type of work may affect the hand and arms. Next, working in the environment where the worker is exposed to certain types of radiations, ultraviolet radiation. Mainly, you must have seen with the very much common is that is the arc welding that affects the eyes very much, causing intense conjunctivitis. That is also known as welder's flag is very much common. So these are the some types of physical environment to which the worker is exposed, or even by feeling and seeing also we can analyze and we can assess and we can judge out the environment to which the worker is exposed, that whether that particular environment is comfortable or not. Coming to the next type of hazard, that is the chemical hazard. The chemicals mean that is some types of health hazard that is due to the chemical agents that may takes place in ways like through the local action, through the inhalation, through the ingestion of the chemicals. Local action, that may be absorption through the skin. Some of the chemicals may be absorbed during the working processes through the skin, and that may cause dermatitis, eczema, different types of ulcers, and the acute condition may also cause different types of skin cancers also. These chemicals cannot only be absorbed through the skin, but it can be inhaled also in form of dust, in form of gases, in form of the metals and related compounds. For example, through the dust, very common and one of the major disease that is caused occupational disease that is found in maximum industrial workers and among the miners, that is the pneumoconiosis and its different forms, that is silicosis and anthracosis, which we will discuss in this lecture later. Next, the chemical agents can be also inhaled through in gaseous forms also. There are various suffocating gases like carbon monoxide, etc., which can pose different type of health hazards, while the metals and their compounds can also be inhaled and cause different types of health hazards. Similarly, ingestion of the chemical compounds, maybe through the food, maybe through the contaminated hand, etc. For example, lead, mercury, arsenic, phosphorus, etc., can cause different types of health hazard. So these are the chemical hazard to which a worker may be exposed. Next comes the, we can say that is the biological hazard. The biological hazards are those hazards when the person is exposed to various types of infective, or we can say parasitic agents, and may cause diseases like brucellosis, anthrax, tetanus, encephalitis, and fungal infections. Brucellosis, that is we can say also known as Mediterranean fever or Malta fever, that is mainly caused due to the use of unpasteurized milk that is not very much common now. Persons also working with the animals may also become the agents of biological hazards. Next hazard is the mechanical hazards, which are the hazards that is generally posed by the different types of machineries that are used in, whether we can say industrial workers or that are used in agricultural workers, etc. It is said that nearly 10% of the accidents are said to be due to the mechanical causes. So this is also one of the major environmental risks, that is the mechanical hazard. Now, the next important is that is the psychosocial hazard. Psychosocial hazard is mainly the hazard which is generally found in all types of working sectors, whether primary, secondary, and tertiary. But the researchers says the most prone workers are from the tertiary sectors. So, what is the psychosocial hazard? It generally arises from the workers. So we can say if the worker is feeling frustrated frustrated from its working environments. Yeah, or either it lack of job satisfaction, we can say, insecurity of losing, yeah, fear of losing job, poor human relations, emotional tensions are some of the psychosocial factors which may undermine both the physical and mental health of the workers. So these can be reflected and classified in mainly two categories, that is the psychological and behavioral changes, and the psychosomatic ill health. The psychological and behavioral changes that can be reflected with our behavior, the frustrating, if we are having certain frustrating behavior, aggressive behavior, if it is reflected in anxiety, it can be reflected in depression, or some of the behavioral changes, that is alcoholism, drug abuse, etc. While the second one is the psychosomatic ill health, which can be reflected in our physical health, for example feeling fatigue, headache, shoulder, neck pain, back pain. Even the stress can lead to different types of ulcers, hypertensions, etc. So these are the psychosocial hazards. Now, after discussing the different types of working hazards or environmental risk to which the workers are exposed, we are going to discuss some of the important occupational, some of the major and important occupational diseases, among which the pneumoconiosis is very important. Pneumoconiosis, it is mainly the disease which impairs the respiratory function, and this is the in this pneumoconiosis we can say it is a broad horizon in which several other diseases are categorized, that is the silicosis, anthracosis, bicyanosis, bagasosis, asbestosis, farmer's lungs, etc. We will discuss one by one. What happens in pneumoconiosis, that is the dust particles of aerodynamic diameter. Aerodynamic diameter means which can be inhaled easily through our airways to lungs. Entry of certain, if entry of certain foreign body to our body, it is but natural that it will cause certain types of inflammations and energies. Once this aerodynamic diameter dust particles enters our lung through the airways, it causes inflammations. Inflammations may be seen in trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, alveoli, etc. Due to this inflammation, fibrosis takes place. Fibrosis means hardening of tissues. So hardening of lung, we can say, that takes place, which reduces the lung capacity, lung air holding capacity, and which impairs the inhalation and exhalation process among the workers. So pneumoconiosis has several diseases like silicosis, anthracosis, etc. These all diseases are related to the lungs impairment, we can say, or sometimes some type of respiratory complications. Among these diseases, the causing agents are different, but these are the diseases of lung, or we can say the respiratory complications. Coming to the first one, that is the silicosis. The silicosis was first reported in India in Kolar gold mine of Mysore in 1947, but later on it was also reported in other industries and mines also, that is the silver industry, lead industry, mica industry, etc. And it is the one of the leading cause of permanent disability and mortality. So these diseases are generally that cannot be treated, but so if it is not treated, prevention is it is necessary to take prevention, and the workers should be educated before employment about the pros and consequences of the working environment, and how they should take some safety measures during their work, during their work. So if we go towards the data, it is seen that in the mica mines of Bihar, research says that 329 miners were examined, and among which the silicosis rate was observed among the 34.1% of the workers, which is we can say very much. Similarly, the this was also second research says that silicosis was also found among 15.7% workers of the ceramic and the pottery factory. Now, the anthracosis, that are the disease that mainly develops among the coal miners, and it can be characterized in two stages. The first stage is, we can say, that is the simple pneumoconiosis, simple pneumoconiosis which is associated with little ventilatory impairment. This phase may require about 12 years of work exposure for its development. But when the second phase is characterized by the PMF, which is known as the progressive massive fibrosis, and which causes severe respiratory disability, frequently resulting into premature death. So coal miners pneumoconiosis, now it has been declared as one of the notifiable disease in the Indian Mine Act of 1952, and also compensable in the Workmen's Compensation Amendment Act of the 1955. So from the point of view of epidemiology, the risk of death among the coal miners has been nearly twice the general population. So here you can understand how much risk the coal miners, with how much risk the coal miners are working. Now coming to the next, that is the bisonosis. Bisonosis is generally that is caused by the causing agent is the cotton fiber dust, and as we know that India mainly employs 35% of the workers in cotton textile industry, so it becomes very important to discuss about the bisonosis. So the causing agent is cotton fiber, and as already I have said, it is a type of disease which comes under the pneumoconiosis, in which also respiratory complications takes place. So symptoms may be chronic cough, it may be progressive dyspnea, that is the shortness of breath ending with chronic bronchitis and emphysema. Uh, Bisonosis is reported to be nearly 7 to 8% in 3 independent surveys carried out in Mumbai, Ahmedabad, and Delhi. Its awareness should be highlighted because it is one of the important work sector in our country. The next disease, which here we are going to discuss, that is the bagasosis. Bagasosis, here again we can say the respiratory complications takes place, and here the causing agent is, that is the bagasse of the sugar cane dust, and as we know that India is the major producer of sugar cane, so the many of the one of the much of the workers are employed in this sector. This disease was first reported by Ganguly and Paul in 1955 in cardboard manufacturing firm near Kolkata. Later, it was also identified in other related sugarcane industries also. And here again, the respiratory symptoms can be seen in the form of breathlessness, cough, slight fever, etc. The next one is the asbestosis. Asbestosis, again, the causing agent is asbestos. Now, what is that is asbestos? That is, we can say, asbestos is the commercial name given to certain type of fibrous material, certain type of fibrous material. Asbestos fibers are usually, they are of aerodynamic diameters, which really inhaled through our airways, and it is mostly insoluble. It affects and it is deposited in alveoli, and it causes various types of respiratory and lung inflammations. It causes pulmonary fibrosis, that is the hardening of tissue. We can say pulmonary tissue, leading to respiratory insufficiency. That is the inhalation and exhalation insufficiency, and its acute condition may lead towards the carcinoma of the bronchus and cancer of gastrointestinal tract. Next comes the farmer's lung. Farmer's lung, the name itself is suggesting that is the lung affected, lung affected, that is in the farmers, that is among mostly the agricultural workers. Here the causing agent are, we can say, mold, hay or grain dust. When it is inhaled or even having the moisture, this grain or dust is having moisture over more than 30%, it becomes the it gives the conducive environment for the bacterial and fungal growth, which causes increase in temperature, and this increase in temperature causes thermophilic actinomycetes. This acute illness is generally characterized again with the respiratory symptoms, that is the pulmonary fibrosis and respiratory insufficiency. Now the next most common is, after we can say the pneumoconiosis, comes the lead poisoning. Why we are discussing here the lead poisoning? Because lead, due to its property, is used in various types of industries, and its ingestion, inhalation or skin absorption may pose certain types of health hazards. So that's why I'm discussing here. For example, lead oxide and lead carbonate are the most dangerous, which negatively impacts the health of the workers. And this can be seen through the abdominal colic pains, obstinate constipation, loss of appetite, blue lines on gums, anemia, etc. Now, the conditions, the clinical picture, what I have said here, that abdominal pain, constipation, loss of appetite, these are all the conditions which are generally caused by the inorganic lead. Now, the organic lead compounds that mainly depresses the central nervous system and causes insomnia. Insomnia is, that is the, we can say, lack of sleep, headache, mental confusion, etc. Now, after the disease we have discussed, that is mainly related with the respiratory functions. Now we are going to discuss about the cancers, that is the occupational cancers, which are observed among the occupational, that is the workers. These cancers may be of skin cancer, lung cancer, cancer bladder, etc. Skin cancer is the most common cancer, and nearly 75% of the occupational workers are reported of having the skin cancer, who work in the environment of either a mining environment in which they are exposed to the X-rays, various type of medicine industries, certain working in the industries which manufactures paints and dyes, etc. Similarly, the lung cancer can be developed through the industries like using asbestos, nickel, chromium, arsenic, etc. And the cancer bladder is, in recent year, it is mainly noted in the rubber industry, and it is caused by the aromatic amines, which are metabolized in the body and excreted in the urine. The industries associated with the cancer bladder are dye stuffs and dyeing industry, etc. Now, here we are going to discuss about the radiation hazards after the lead poisoning. Radiation hazard. The many times the workers are exposed to various radioactive substances that may be we can say painting of luminous dials for watches, working in industries which manufactures paints, manufacture of radioactive paints, exposure to radium, uranium, thorium, monazite, sand workers handling their products. These all workers are exposed to these radiation hazards, and the effects may be seen in form of acute burns, dermatitis, and different types of malignancies also, and some types of malignancies that develops genetic effects also. So here again, after discussing those major diseases, now we are going to discuss about the occupational hazards of the agricultural workers. So why we are dealing with the occupational hazards of the agricultural workers? Because in India, we know that most of our working population is employed in this agriculture sector. So it becomes very important to discuss occupational hazards of the agriculture workers. So it is discussed under the following subhead: zoonotic disease, accidents, toxic hazard, physical hazards, and respiratory hazards. And now coming to the zoonotic disease, what are the zoonotic diseases? That are the diseases which are passed from the animals to the humans. The workers who works in close contact with the animals, maybe domestic animals, cattle, etc. In those persons, increases the likelihood of getting having contact with certain types of zoonotic diseases. For example, brucellosis, already I have discussed. This is also known as Malta fever and Mediterranean fever, and caused due to the unpasteurized milk. Anthrax, then leptospirosis, tetanus, tuberculosis, that is bovine tuberculosis. Now it is very much rare because the trend of boiling milk and pasteurized milk is generally practiced, but it is found rarely found in the areas which is still those areas in which areas the humans are still using milk, unpasteurized milk without boiling. Uh, there are also the certain types of accidents are also seen among the agriculture workers through the machineries which are generally used for the agricultural purposes. For example, certain types of plowing machineries, tractors, threshers, etc. And in India, you must have heard the insect and snakes bites are very much common. Now the toxic hazard, you must have heard about the toxicity of different types of pesticide, insecticide, and fertilizer during studying about the agriculture green revolution. So the agriculture workers are exposed to these different types of chemical hazard during the length of the growing periods of different types of crops. Physical hazards, as in India, as most of the Indian farmers are dependent upon the climatic and environmental conditions, natural environmental conditions. So they are mainly exposed to the extremes of temperature. That is extremes of temperature. That is during the summers to high heat, and during the winters to the very much low temperature. So exposure to long duration to these extremes of temperature may cause different types of physical hazard. Similarly, the respiratory hazard, already we have discussed about the bisonosis and vagosis previously. Now discussing all this, now I am going to discuss about the measures for the health protection of the workers. Why we are discussing these measures for the health protection of the workers? If these measures are practiced, then the possibility of having occupational diseases will be decreased to much extent. So this is mainly discussed by the International Labour Organization, that is the ILO and WHO, and the committee recommended proper nutrition for the workers to develop the to enhance the immunity of the workers, control on the communicable diseases, similarly providing a particular comfortable and conducive environment to the workers through clean and potable water supply, food supply, sanitation by having proper toilet facilities, sufficient space, having proper lighting, ventilation, temperature. Overall, we can say conducive environment for the workers in which the workers may feel comfortable during their working hours. So similarly, the mental health of the workers are counseled, and measures for the women and children are taken by giving special attention because they require special attention. And similarly, the workers are educated and should be educated about the negative impacts of their working environment, or in what way that working environment may affect their health. So these measures may reduce, may protect the workers to much extent. Now, coming to the prevention of the occupational diseases, it includes the medical measures, certain legislative measures, and certain engineering measures. Medical measures incorporate pre-placement examination, that is the examination, health examination of the workers before getting employed in a particular sector or industry. Then periodical examination after getting employed to the particular sector or MLC, the intermittent examination, health examination should be proceeded, and its proper health record of each and every worker should be maintained. Then notification by the supervisor of the working environment, that the working environment should be supervised intermittently, whether it is conducive or not, and educating the workers with the pros and consequences of the occupational diseases. Now, next comes the certain legislative measures. In India, there are two major important legislative measures. The first one is the Factories Act of 1948, which includes the health, security, safety, welfare of the workers, leave with wages. It also gives the fixed hours of fixed working hours, and employment of the young person, that it defines the age limit for the working population. The second act is the Employees State Insurance Act of 1948, which includes the finance safety, gives the medical benefits. Similarly, it gives the sickness benefits, maternity benefits, disablement benefits, rehabilitation benefits, etc. Now, coming to the last, that is the engineering measures, that a due importance should be given on the design of the building, that it should be in the building should be designed by giving due importance to the ventilation, floor, tiling, ceiling, etc., height of the ceiling, and it should be built in the same manner to which manner it is passed by the architect. General ventilation should be observed, various isolations should be taken, various isolation should be also taken by isolating the offensive process in separate way. Environmental monitoring should be enhanced in order to analyze, assess the working environment of the worker. And lastly, more researches are required in order to upgrade the data about the occupational disease. Occupational diseases. Thank you. Now we have finished with these occupational disease, and I hope, students, this will help and this may assist your studies during this period of crisis of lockdown. Now, my next lecture will be on deficiency diseases, and which will be provided soon. So stay at your home, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you.